Alright, so I've been meaning to make this video for a while, and I guess it's going to be today. This is, Sicomatic. I'm going to link to this video and Sicomatic's channel here in the description. So check down below if you want to find the video that I'm looking off of. But he did this video of me and Stef playing, I guess it's over a month ago now. And we were just playing a bunch of games on the ladder. He recorded the last three. So we played 6 games that day. These are the last three. I won three, Stef won three. I can't remember what order that came in. So we'll get back to these. But the point of what I'm going to try to do here is just to review these games as a way of hopefully modeling kind of how you might want to review your own games. I think they were reasonably interesting games for the most part, but also like I'm mostly looking with a critical eye. So one of the biggest things you can do to improve your play is to look back at your own games, other people's games too, but especially your own games. Look and see what did I do, what could I have done, what should I have done, that kind of thing here. So let's jump into that. I'm going to just zoom in. There we go. So we can have a better view of what's going on here. I'm going to play the video. And yeah, here we go. So let's hope that it loads. Okay. I guess I should maybe mention, so Sicomatic is going to have some commentary here that you guys can't really hear because I've just quieted it down. Um, Sicomatic's a very good player in his own right. Stef is probably the player who's been on top the longest of the competitive scene. He's also at least largely responsible for this client that we're playing on right now. So he doesn't list himself on the leaderboard, but the secret leaderboard, he's been in second for quite a while now, second to third. But he's also spent more time than anyone I know at number one. So I think we've played probably hundreds of games across a few platforms, and he's got somewhere between a 50 and 60% win rate against me. I'm not exactly sure what it is here. Anyway, he's very, very good. Um, okay, this board, let's look at the board. We both opened with plot pretty quickly. We were playing pretty fast here. Uh, we've got lamp on the board, so you're going to want to pop that pretty quickly. Lackeys is the only draw, and obviously you're going to be eventually terminal space limited. So that's something to watch out for. So that even more incentivizes you to get very thin, for which there's ambassador or doctor, but ambassador is basically just better, I think. Very thin, and then play probably with a lot of cantrips. So markets, cave, maybe, although that's probably not going to be a big part of what you're doing, and venture. If your opponent guardians, then that is going to protect against ambassador, so that's something to watch out for. But then you might be able to guardian lackeys back to be able to buy them again to get more villagers back. So that's something to think about here. Anyway, you want to pop your lamp like ASAP as well as thin. So you want to get ambassador plot, and I guess I could think a lot about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I want to do. I'm second player here. We both had the 4-3, which is definitely better than the 3-4 because you get your plot going faster. Um, anyway, we both plot ambassador here. So Steph gets 3 money here. It's really nice to be able to see this from both sides. Obviously, on my turn, I wasn't able to do that, which means he could pop his plot here to make sure that he's going to find ambassador either this turn or next turn. But you kind of want to build up your plot to be able to get your lamp going. So here you could stop and think, okay, if I don't pop plot now, then I'm just going to buy, I think he ended up buying a guardian here. And then next turn you're going to ambassador stuff back and buy like a lackeys or a candlestick maker. And then the next turn it doesn't actually work out. So the other thing you could do here is you could buy like the lackeys now, and then next turn buy the guardian, and then you're going to have a guardian in play, you're going to have lamp, You're going to have Ambassador, that's 3 uniques. You're going to have Copper, you're going to have Lackeys, and you're going to have um, the lamp itself. So that's 6 uniques. So you could plan to go Lackeys here, Guardian next turn, pop the plot on turn 5. You'll have 2, 3 on turn 4. You'll draw 3 cards there. You probably only get to return 1 with Ambassador, but you'll have 3 cards there. You'll have how many cards in your deck? You'll have, it's 11 now. You're going to add 1. You're going to add another one, but that won't be in play. So you probably have 11 cards in your deck, and you're going to draw 5 naturally, 3 more. You're likely to hit, but it's not guaranteed. Although there's a 5 in 11 chance, that's like a 45-ish% chance that I'm going to Ambassador here, so you might want the Guardian down for that reason. I can also pop to make it a higher chance if I really want, if you don't Guardian yourself. So there's a lot of things going on there. Stef decides to go for the Guardian. He sticks on there and goes for the Guardian and plays it. And okay, so here on my turn, I either can return 2 coppers, buy nothing. I can pop my plot, return 2 coppers, probably draw a cop. Well, if I draw a copper, return 2 coppers, and buy a Guardian, I'm very it's 5 and 6 that Stef's going to attack me here, so I kind of want the Guardian. If I draw an estate, I can return 2 estates and buy a Guardian. Or I can not pop my plot. I can return 2 coppers and get Ambassador attacked, or return an estate and buy a Guardian and protect against the Ambassador attack. I think, so I did a lot of thinking about this a bit after the game. Basically, I'm just in a bad spot, I think, because I'm not getting to attack Stef. I don't have a good split of 2 estates and 2 coppers or 4 coppers, so I can't return and buy without popping my plot 2 things. So I think I'm mostly at a bad spot, but I think I eventually came to the conclusion that I was supposed to not pop my plot, return the estate, and buy a Guardian. But I popped the plot at the time, returned to and got the Guardian because I'm so confident that I'm getting attacked. But it feels pretty bad because right now I don't have anything on my plot. It's going to take me a lot longer to get to the big plot turn that's going to enable what I'm doing here. Now here you have Candlestick Maker or Lackeys. He gets the Lackeys. This makes a lot of sense. So here again I have a decision. I've got 4 money. I could take a Doctor to trigger the shuffle because these are garbage cards for the shuffle, and maybe trash a card. I could also buy, the problem is 4 money doesn't help me a lot, so I'm going to buy like a Secret Cave or I don't know. I think maybe I should get the Doctor here, but again, it's just a bad spot. Stef's plot is in much better shape. He's actually got it guaranteed now that he can pop his lamp next turn. I've got this terrible hand here. I don't have whatever. He's going to buy the CSM. And then he knows that he's going to have Lackeys, Candlestick Maker, Ambassador, Copper, Guardian, and he's got his 6 uniques. I am in terrible shape here, so he's going to pop and win next turn. I think I popped here, but basically I'm completely dead lost by this point. And like I say, I was walking through all of my decision points, and there were other choices I could have made, and I'm not sure they might have helped me more. But I think with the particular draws we got, I was just never ever winning this game, I think. I'd love to hear what you guys' analysis are. I mean, this was like the perfect draw for me, right? After popping there. But so he's going to pop, he's going to draw the Candlestick Maker, he gets to use this. He's going to get rid of these, he's going to pop his lamp. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, so he has 2 buys and he can get like Market Guardian. Um, doesn't doesn't really matter a ton. Cartographer, Guardian, I mean, that's perfectly fine. And I can honestly resign here. I'm very far away from popping mine. You're just so far ahead. Um, so you're going to discard the copper here. I might have discarded the wish, but anyway, yeah. Resignation. I'm just very lost. The ambassador, the way the money fell, and being second player on that board, just really bad for me. Now this board, yeah. So this board, there's a little bit going on. There is no plus buy, but there's extra gains from Haggler, Transmogrify, Procession, maybe Tormentor. You've got the attack off of Villain. But there's Pageant, there is Expedition, there you've got a village down here. I'm on the bottom now, so right, I'm first player, I'm on the bottom here. Um, there's the Guardian to help defend against these attacks potentially. You can draw a lot with Scholar or a Library. You've got Transmogrify, Procession, Fortress, Pageant. So I think just the combination of these three cards is really probably too much to pass up on. But like these landscapes are actually helping money a fair bit here, as well as Treasure Trove, and I'm not really sure about Haggler. Mm. Anyway, we'll see what happens here. I'm a huge fan of Pageant, and so I open Pageant, and yeah. So Steph is going to go for this plan a little bit more, for which I'm pretty sure you should open. I'm pretty sure you should open with the Transmogrify. Um, Probably judiciously use Expedition. You want to get Transmogrify, a couple Transmogrifies, a load of fortresses, and then you're going to probably Transmogrify your fortress into Procession so you can Procession Fortress, and that's basically just your whole game plan if you're playing that deck. Um, One of the problems with that deck is the money and green cards. There's no trashing, so um, they're gonna be in your way all the time, and your only draw is like Scholar and Library. So that is one of the things against it. I think I get a silver here, and I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna plow through with money quickly enough. Um, Steph should Expedition. Yeah, Expedition makes a lot of sense. So here, I think I take the Tormentor because Imps are still great. And now I think I'm gonna take an Expedition here. Or I should take an Expedition. I can't remember whether I get Expedition or Silver. Yeah, I get the Expedition. This makes a ton of sense. And now I'm going to be able to take Imp plus Treasure Trove. Treasure Trove seems much better with the Pageant, especially. I think I might prefer Treasure Troves to gold at this point in general. But and we have Steph getting the Pageant there. I think I'm not in love with the Pageant there, but he didn't really want silver, I guess. And well, we just missed what I did on my turn, which was getting the treasure trove and the thing. So so Steph should be getting the draw up. Really, I think you should get either Scholar or Tormentor here probably, um, because you want to be able to find your procession fort. You really want to get a lot of procession fortress. You want a lot of fortresses and transmogrifies mostly. And he gets the Haggler, which kind of helps him get to that, but and there he didn't take a pageant thing for I don't really know why. It was just a little mistake. Um, and there I take transmogrify. Now let's talk about my thoughts behind the transmogrify there. Um, it probably isn't good. I should probably just take like a silver and a coffers or another five. But my thought is early mid game I can still do some upgradey stuff, and then later it can help me mill pageants to help shorten the game. So I'm not sure what the O was about. He thinks that I'm like adjust my strategy or something. Um, yeah, okay. So there, I get another transmogrify, more coffers. I mean, coffers is a big thing here. Um, so I'm gonna get another imp. Um, see, he has two fortresses and two transmogrifies, and I just think you want more of that stuff and be able to do it more often. Um, it's all going a bit fast to talk about. So here, I could get another treasure trove. I could get another haggler. I could get a library. I could get. I mean, there's a lot of reasonable things. I could just get gold. I still want to be building a little bit here. I'm not. Yeah, the villain. Um, the villain I think makes a lot of sense because, uh, well, the coffers are still good, and then honestly, I think the attack is actually pretty good here. So now I should either take a expedition or the guardian, and I like the guardian there specifically because it comes with uh, the coffers, and just building up the coffers is a huge deal here. Um, you don't want to province too early because just doesn't. So here we've got, yeah, Steph really needing more fortresses, I think. So I think that's what he should take there. He takes a scholar and a fortress, which makes a lot of sense because you get both of them. And now I get to province and take my thing. So now Steph doesn't have a villain. Villain would hurt me pretty badly here, but and now so Sicomatic's commentary here is that he expects Steph to be able to get to province here somehow, which I just think Steph needs to use, he still needs more building stuff, and this is kind of the problem with the strategy on this board is you still want to be keeping to add this stuff, but it doesn't really help you. Like you kind of have to get provinces because there's no plus buy or extra gains to help cane up, catch up. So like it's a little hard, but yeah, I mean you kind of still need to be provincing this early anyway, which he does here. So this is the fear hurts me, but not that much. So this is province and something, and he gets to trash the hovel, which means you definitely want the province there. I think the something should be another fortress. It's just really important to get the fortresses in your opening hand so that you can do fortress possession, so that you can transmogrify them. Yeah, and that's exactly what Steph does. Go figure, he's a really good player. This is a really bad draw from Steph. Um, and now here I have an interesting choice. I decide to buy a province there, or I could expedition. Um, yeah, so let's talk about what just happened there. Um, where is this? My turn. Da, 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 da. Okay, so I imp and play a villain, which makes you discard this scholar. He has a transmogrify down, which this is one of the bad parts of having to do this on video as opposed to in real time. But he has a transmogrify down, so we could have turned scholar into fortress and he would have been fine. But because I made him discard the villain attack, it's just really good here because there's so much junk in your deck. He now can't do that. So, and now here I bought a province. Now buying province, bit tricky, right? Should I do it? Should I not? I don't know. But the it's 4 coffers, which is a lot of my coffers. Um, I think I actually kind of don't like this decision. I kind of like expeditioning there and taking another coffers, and then I can province like quite reliably every turn. It's just a question of I think I maybe slightly overestimated Steph's deck, but it's a close decision anyway. So now he's going to transmogrify that overgrown estate into, and he can either take estate or guardian here. And it's actually a kind of difficult decision. He could proc the scholar, but it doesn't help to proc it, so you might as well just play the scholar. Or you could just stop and not do anything and just take a coffers. But I think you want to play the scholar because both of your scholars are gone now, and you'd like to get back to one of them. But you don't want to trash it, so you don't process it. Process it, because I mean, processing it would get you back even closer to. And he spends his money for the expedition there, which okay is fine. Um, this is going to be a good hand for him, but now I have time, which is nice. Should play the Necropolis, of course. You could see I'm starting to run out of money a little bit. Poverty is really, really nice after this expedition hit, so I'm getting very lucky here. And I'm pretty sure I spend for province here. Yep. And that's war, which is, oh my gosh. Okay, this happened like immediately for us, as opposed to this slow animation. It it just chancellored me because my only thing in hand is that. So obviously I'm going to province there. So now I have this big old lead, which is really nice. Um, he gets to villain me here, which does actually hurt. Um, I'm really not sure which strategy is better here. So I do want to mention I discarded Treasure Trove there because I don't think I'm getting back to. I have 2 transmogrifies on my mat now. I really don't think that I'm getting back to the whatever I'm gaining here. So the attack just seems more valuable, and the attack definitely seems more valuable than the imp, but also than gaining the copper and gold. So here I I take the duchy, and it's because A, now double province doesn't win from you, but B, I basically just need to find a province in my hand because I have the 2 transmogrifies down. So this is how this game is going to turn out. We're going to see in a second. I'm going to transmogrify both these provinces. Literally, that's the only thing they've done all game because I never called them before this. So somehow it feels like probably both of us maybe misplayed it slightly, although I don't think Steph misplayed it very much. I think mostly from Steph's side, it was about he got a couple of bad draws there. That's going to happen some percentage of the time, so I don't know overall like how bad that was for him, but obviously it's not great. So Steph obviously just has to plow on with provinces here and hope to be able to transmogrify fortresses into duchies to catch up. So that's that game. And let's move on to the last game. So, Steph is first again, so he's going to be on the bottom. And then, so we have Ferry. We can Ferry for Recruiter to get recruiters. There's Wedding for money. There's Exorcist to help trash estates or whatever. But I think the Exorcist is probably kind of bad in light of Recruiter. Old Witch should still be good, I think, because A, you need to draw somehow. and B, the curse is still hurt in the meantime. So, uh, Recruiter's the only village, but it's a great village, but you are going to need to keep fueling it. And this is actually another reason why Old Witch is good, is because you need to thin. It's also the only way, well, maybe not the only way, but a big part of your thinning this recruiter. So you want to you want a lot of recruiters. You want to thin down with them. You're going to need villagers to play them all, which means after the estates are gone, you're going to have to get stuff to trash to recruiter. So we both ended up on uh, fairy for recruiter, I think. Um, and I think I like that still. You just want to get this stuff going faster. You could get an exorcist also, but that I just think you want your recruiters to trash your estates so much. So Steph hits 5 here, and I would take an old witch if I were him, and he does. And I just get another recruiter. And I very fortunately here, so I drew my recruiter on turn 3, and I drew another one on turn 4, which is really good luck for me. Steph's missed the shuffle, obviously, and they also, yeah, so basically I'm here. I'm going to get the old witch as well. Um, so now there's some interesting choices. I mean, obviously you should just trash the estate here. There's no reason to not do that. Um, so there's some question, right? If you want to be able to get more out of your turn, you're going to need plus buy, which is going to mean council room. But you're probably also going to need some economy, which could be wedding, could be. I mean, you have 7 here for wedding. To keep feeding the recruiter, I think the best way is workshop. So you can workshop for exorcists. Exorcists just because it costs more than it's the only 4 on the board, so you get more villagers out of it. We're both drawing fairly well, but I still want to thin down more because I don't want to dud. And I think I can increase what I'm doing with maybe a number of workshops, a couple of recruiters, trashing and thinning and doing all that business. So this is kind of how the lines go here. At some point you can get a cargo ship to help you not dud maybe, but um, perhaps surprisingly it really is an issue here. So here I trashed a copper over a curse, and that's just in the hope that the curse might get trashed from an old witch play. I don't need the money, I figure, from the copper, so we can hope to get thinned a little better. And here with 5, I just get a workshop. So we both get the workshop because we realize we need to fuel our recruiters. Steph gets a not great draw here. But basically, so far, I've gotten luckier than him because I've been able to play my recruiters more often. So this is a trash of. I think this should have been another trash of a copper, and then get the exorcist, and then buy like another workshop, and just use the workshops as both payload and a little bit of deck control. So like I should have done the same thing where I trashed a copper again, but I didn't. So that's a slight misplay from me. Steph workshops for the second workshop. This makes some sense. You should play the council room next, then workshop for an exorcist to trash that. Uh, maybe not. I think this is a little bit early for the council room because you don't have a use for the 2 buys really. I mean, I guess you could use both the buys, but yeah, he runs into a terminal space issue here as well, right? So he can either play the second recruiter and trash something or play the workshop, but he can't do both, which is pretty bad. We know that this last card is a workshop, so I guess he could. Oh, wait, no. It isn't. He workshopped for this workshop. Okay, yeah. So the exorcist there. And 6 money. He could try to get more money. He takes Lighthouse and Wedding. I guess the Lighthouse might help him defend him from attacks here, but okay. So now I get, I think, a wedding, right? I just don't need the council room because I'm not planning on buying two things anytime soon. So I take the more expensive thing now, which is the wedding. Basically, the expensiveness doesn't really help. It doesn't really matter that much. It's just that the council room draws stuff a card, and I don't want to do that. Um, and I do need more draw now, so I get a third recruiter, which I really like because I want to keep thinning down here, and I need more actions and stuff. Um, and yeah, I think this is a mistake at this point. I should have gotten the council room. Um, but it's fine. Basically, compared to Stef, I'm thinning more, and he's building up his payload a little more, but mostly I'm drawing more, which is mostly due to luck. That I'm drawing my draw cards earlier in my shuffles, and he's not. Um, so this is going to be an old witch for me to start, and then I can start plowing in with these recruiters. I gotta trash one of these golds here, but I can trash a copper first. Yeah, so we do both of those. Now I can workshop for another exorcist and a silver, say, and trash that, or I can just workshop for whatever. The lighthouse defends me. It makes a little bit of sense. It's also some money. I'm not so sure about the lighthouse, I guess, but it doesn't matter that much. I think I decided to not play the lighthouse here just to keep the, like, it didn't really matter to play it. So now I get the council room. Yeah, so I think it was a little bit of a mistake to get the lighthouse, but oh well. Now I have plenty of draw to draw everything. I'm thinner than stuff. I have a little bit less money, but I can use, I have 7 villagers, so I can use more of my money to, or my workshops in, to not have to get as many villagers, and I can just get more money. Basically, I like my position here because my deck is more compact than Steph's, and I can do like gain and play stuff. Um, and I think that's my main advantage. I think I got to that advantage mostly because I got more recruiters earlier, and so then Steph's been playing from behind mostly. Um, and yeah, there's still like 10 minutes left in this game, so I might speed this up. How do I do that? Do settings, playback speed, 1.5. So, I mean, we're playing fast here, but also it's still not fast enough for me apparently. So here I get another exorcist, which I like, and then I get what I don't like, which is the cargo ship, because I end up just trashing it here anyway. Though I probably should have just played it. I should probably just trash the Exorcist and the Recruiter here, and then buy like another council room and a bunch of money. Um, there's been a mention here that the piles are low, and they are kind of low, but there's, so the curses are gonna run out like any moment. Um, I want council room wedding. So we're even here. I'm up because of the curses. This is a dud, which, I mean, is going to happen more often because he's less thin. But so the exorcists are kind of low and the recruiters are kind of low, and we're in the end game very effectively because I mean there's this, and then you've got all this stuff. So probably scoring is important soon. But Stuff does still have more. The big advantage that Stuff still has is that the big advantage is that I is that he has more econ. Yeah, and I could have as Sicomatic is mentioning, I could have gained another workshop with one of those workshops. It basically only costs me that I have a workshop in the deck, but I think that's a positive thing, not a negative. And then the other thing it costs me is that it costs me villagers basically, but it can get the villagers back over time, so it's mostly the stuff in the deck. He's talking about provincing, but I do a little bit of thought here, and basically I thought here, okay, this is a good point to stop for a second and think. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a lot of gains to end the game. Stef can give me the curse, and then he still needs 4 gains there. He has 2 council rooms, and I think he's down to 1 workshop, so it would take like all of his gains, and then he's not winning. I don't think. Maybe he was. I don't know. I think what I got here was like duchy and something, duchy silver or something. So Sicomatic's saying he would get a province. I'm also not sure how much money he has. So duchy wedding, yeah, because I wanted more money, and I wanted, so this I think puts me in enough points that I can't really lose. He also has a terminal space issue here. He has this scheme which helps make him reliable, but um, yeah, I think he's down to 1 workshop here, which stops him from winning. If he had the second workshop, he could go this, and then buy 2, and then trash. Well, no, also the duchy, right? And this is part of why I got the duchy. Workshop gained the recruiter. Yeah, he'd had to trash the second workshop earlier, which is a big deal. But I'd calculated that into my calculations, or I'd factored it into my calculations. So now he just has a bunch of money. Um, but I've got, I mean, his deck is, he has all of these cards. So he double provinces and says, okay, I'm gonna be fine because I have this lead. So now Sicomatic likes Stef's spot. I have enough money though, I think. So I need to gain some money here, I think. I gain like a couple silvers maybe. And I can trash this curse. And now I have to do a little bit of math. And I double here as well. And basically, so I have the small lead, 4 points. If stuff double provinces, I like my chances. This is a pretty unlikely dud for me. I mean, I still might be able to save it off of the council rooms and my recruiter play, but Steph had to trash a gold in order to get his villagers up high enough. Steph with the 3 buys. He can't win. Again, it's too many gains. He could have gained instead of silver the exorcist, and then he could buy triple recruiter, but I have the lead, so that doesn't work. And then he doesn't want to lower then because then that makes it easier for me to win. He goes province duchy silver. Um, and now I could just start taking a bunch of duchies, probably was my plan if I had the chance, but I didn't because I have a terrible dud. Um, you'll notice that Steph has 2, 4, 9 treasures, and then he's going to have 10 treasures plus what is this? 3, 4 green cards, and I have about as many treasures. If we can go back to my last turn, I have also 9 treasures, and I have 3 green cards, but I have, I guess, an extra workshop and 3 recruiters, 2 council rooms, and an old witch. You have, let's see if I can find this here, 3 recruiters, 2 council rooms, an old witch, and a scheme. You have 2, 4, 9. So it's actually very even in terms of decks here. So I probably have squandered my advantage a bit. I dud here, which sucks for me. Um, and I just and so he says Sicomatic says I can still do double duchy if I want, which I believe is, well, what definitely wasn't true because I only had 1 buy there. I got the province. I'm not sure whether that's right. I figured I needed Stef to dud to have a chance to win. So if I'd taken duchy, then I'd be down by a point, right? And if Stef double provinces, then I'd be down by 13. I can go province double duchy. If both of my workshops also gain estates, then I have a real chance, I guess. So maybe I should have done that. Um, but I figured my spot was probably bad, and I needed him to not be able to double province. Um, Maybe that was just a straight mistake, but Steph also duds here. I did know that I hadn't played any council rooms to help him draw, so that was a big deal. Um, I probably, though, should have gotten duchy instead of province, and that would have been, just better for me. Um, anyway, that's duchy silver, and this makes sure that I can double province here, which was the reason that I went for province instead of duchy. I think to a large extent. Um, Now I have enough draw. I just need to be able to double province, and yeah. So if I would have gotten duchy instead, then double provincing here, I don't know if it would have been enough. Uh, so I had 18, yeah. So I actually think that it was good for me to take whatever it's called, the province, because of this situation. If he doesn't touch province, I need to be able to end the game. Anyway, hopefully you've been able to come up with something out of these 3 games. Let's do a quick recap of the 3. The first game was the ambassador plot, uh, popping the lamp game. I don't think there was much. I mean, there were a number of decisions which I can go back and look through. Okay, this is what happens the next turn. This is what happens the next turn. And I'm not sure I played perfectly, but I think my draws were bad enough I was never winning. The second game is this pageant transmogrify fortress procession thing, and Steph got a bit unlucky there, and I was able to just squeak through. My transmogrifies at this point don't entirely convince me, but it was always going to be a fairly close game. I think probably overall the 2 strategies are fairly close, and mine's a little bit worse. But I benefited from a little bit of nice shuffle luck draw and a lot from first player. Um, and then here in the last game that we just watched, I don't know why it's not loading now, but yeah, I got thinner, which was the big advantage for me. So I got a bit luckier, mostly just because I got to see and play my recruiters more early on. And then I like that I was thinner, but then I kind of threw a lot of that away with how I played. The end game was not very good in getting the weddings and the duchy and stuff, but it worked out for me in that even though I dudded, if I hadn't dudded, I think I would have been in pretty good shape. But even though I dudded, um, Steph also dudded, and that was able to let me win the game. Um, Probably there was a lot more analysis I can do towards the middle to end of that game on how I kind of squandered that advantage inefficiently buying stuff. Like 4 weddings is probably too many. How I used my workshops was probably inefficient. I could have gotten more stuff and then trashed more coppers and then just had more efficient payload to where it's silvers instead of coppers more. But it ended up working out for me. So overall, like, I'm not super thrilled with how I played these. I guess I won two of these three, which means I only won one of the three before. I do remember that of the 6 games, I was first player one time, so I was pretty happy to go 3-3 given that. The earlier games, I think, were I was less unhappy with my play, but the luck went the other way in the earlier ones, so I don't know. It's all hard to tell because it's very hard to disentangle your draws with your luck with your play. So, I mean, that's just something that happens in Dominion. Um, I don't know if this is ever going to load again, but whatever. Hopefully, you've been able to learn or enjoy. Please leave some comments, some questions, some feedback, some suggestions, both on the video, the style of the video, the play, the kind of play. Do check out Sicomatic, and thank you very much, Sicomatic, for coming up with this video to start with. All of the rest of you watchers will catch you again soon. Well, with our normal scheduled videos where I've just recorded at the time of the game being played. Yeah, bye for now.